Thanks everybody for taking a couple minutes away from what's going on in the ice and what is turning into a fantastic series, and obviously we expect a great game tonight. As everybody knows, the last week in St. Louis has been a big challenge with the rain and a number of areas really struggling with significant flooding. It's a challenge that we as a community have been through before, and interestingly, the reason that Sean Henry, the president of the Predators, is up here with me is because just 7 years ago, in May 1st and 2nd of 2010, Nashville suffered one of the most significant floods, and I'll let him speak to that in a moment. But I think the important thing is for us is we get this little window where there's this great sports event going on, but we actually also realize that the sports franchises in our cities play a really critical role. One, to bring attention to suffering in this case and the needs of our community, and on the other side, seeing how we can step up both financially and in other ways to support the efforts. The Red Cross here in St. Louis is, and really throughout our country, is such a critical element of stepping in and providing not just the short-term help, but as everyone knows, helping the families, helping businesses recover. We're talking about the next several months. And so tonight, and really today over the last few days, both organizations are bringing our efforts to raise money and find ways that we can support the effort. Tonight's 50/50 Fund and all other sales that are guided by the Blues for Kids Fund, also working with the Blues alumni. All of those proceeds will go to support flood relief. As we've done before, I assure you, there will be efforts from the team today, and there will be efforts as we go forward. And again, as I said, I think that importantly, first and foremost, we're all part of being a unifying initiative for the community. And this is an important one. Turn it over to Sean.
Thanks, Chris. As Chris said, what a great series we're in the middle of right now. And it's so easy to get lost in the series, for me or Chris, and obviously our players as well. But then every once in a while, life steps in, and that's what's happening right now. And again, ironically, as you said, 7 years ago, Nashville went through a flood, and it was incredible, the outpouring that we received from NHL cities all across the league. It's our time to pay it forward, if you will. And the amazing thing about it was our fans reached out immediately and said, okay, what are we going to do? How do we help them? And that's what we said, okay, we do need to do something and lock arms with our partners. And I said it in our press release, I'll say it again now. We hate each other on the ice. We're adversaries. I'll do anything right now to beat them on the ice. I mean, literally, tell me what it is, and I'll hit them, kick them, whatever we need to do. Fortunately, it doesn't come down to the two of us. But off the ice...
It could, though.
Well, let's go. But off the ice... we really are partners. We're business partners, but more importantly, when something affects one of our communities, if we can help, we should. And we have such a unique opportunity because of the type of series we're enjoying right now that we get to leverage our fans' passions for the logos to draw attention to the problem, draw attention to the need, and then most importantly, raise a few dollars. And like you said, the need is going to go for the next 6 months, 7 months, year, 2, 3 years, a long time. So it's important that we continue to do these things to make sure that St. Louis recovers as fast as possible. So we're just very honored and humbled to be part of it. And again, I'm excited because our fans, we call our city Smashville. It's a unique place. Our fans are passionate, and it was wonderful that they reached out to us and said, okay, what are we going to do? And I'm just very happy. We started a special auction for the away game. Normally we just do them at home. We have a suite we're offering for our game next year here in St. Louis. We might need some help buying that, by the way. But then also a suite for our game against St. Louis. Maybe another 8, 9, 10 different pieces of memorabilia. There's a way you can just donate, by clicking through it. And then whether you like this or not, we have a great tradition of a smash car where we painted up the car colors of our opponent and our fans get a chance to pay a few dollars to whack at it. Tonight, those proceeds will all go to this fund as well. So right now, I think we're at $9,000, $10,000, $11,000 raised. Ideally, we get to double that throughout the game. But again, we're just very honored to be sitting up here with you, and hopefully what we're doing can help you guys in your efforts. No questions. We were pretty good, Chris.
Yeah. Perfect, apparently.
Come on, Joe, you have nothing? My gosh.
To be honest,
Your eyesight. I don't have good eyesight, so.
How about just how the conversation started on this with you guys?
Quite honestly, it actually started independently, and then, if you will, came together. And as Sean mentioned, I know that the fans in Nashville were interested in seeing how they could support this. I think it is representative of part of what has brought both our franchises forward, which is the ability for people to see how we can make contributions in many different ways in these communities. And quite honestly, it is fundamental to what we do and why we're here, in addition to the entertainment and both of us working ultimately to bring the Stanley Cup to our cities.
Can you clarify other ways that fans can contribute outside of the 50-50, especially for those who may not be coming to the games?
Yeah, well, I think primarily going to the Red Cross's website. Obviously, there's going to be lots of needs for volunteers. We are actually, the volunteer efforts will go on, and they are sort of round the clock. We're also going to be hosting about 100 of the volunteers here tonight because, and we found this before, that people need ways to really get a release emotionally from what they're working against. But I would say yes, going to the local Red Cross site will be the best other way to donate and to support and/or volunteer.
And then, from our end, you can just tweet the word or text the word Preds to. Oh, Thomas.
Boy, they dropped that.
They really
one.
did, didn't they?
Yeah.
It's very. Text the word Preds to 52182. 52182, and right in there, there's a way you can, buy memorabilia, buy a suite, but also just a donate button. And we're going to follow the Blues lead and direct it to them, and they'll direct it to the Red Cross as well.
Or go to the Predators app as well.
Or just go to the Predators app that Thomas administers.
So just to be, your hosting means you're giving out tickets to those volunteers?
That's
for tonight?
correct.
Okay.
It's incredible. That's great.
Chris, are you guys doing anything else, or are there any other initiatives that you can announce as far as anything else that the team's doing to help assist in the flood relief efforts beyond what's going on tonight and in partnership with the Predators?
I actually don't have other things to announce now. I think part of the thing you get into in these situations is understanding what those needs are as things evolve. I think the biggest thing we have found is when we can come back to these organizations a month from now when the cameras aren't around and look for ways to get out. And I know in the past we've obviously had people out individually working the areas, working donation stations. I would think that the big thing will be our organization jumping into some of those volunteer efforts.